Hey guys, welcome back to Stitching with Samantha. Today we're going to be embroidering this fun Christmas sweater. First, you're going to need a knit sweater. I got this from Amazon. I will link it in the description of this video. To stitch the Santa hat initial sweater, you need 3 yarns, a red, a green, and a white. I'm using this medium weight yarn from Big Twist. I also like Lion brand yarns and Yarn Bee. There's a lot of different options. I'm going to be using a darner's needle. It has a big eye, but it's still really sharp and pierces the stabilizer well. Speaking of stabilizer, we're going to be using a pre-printed pattern from my Etsy shop today. You can buy these and I'll ship them to you, or you can buy the digital version and you can print it yourself at home. I have printing instructions on my YouTube channel, and it also comes with all of my digital patterns on Etsy. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. Any scissors will do. Once you've laid your sweater flat, you're going to peel off the pattern from the backing and you're going to stick it on your sweater like a sticker. Make sure that it sticks completely on. We're now going to prep our yarn. You're going to need about an arm's length of yarn. You're going to cut it and we're going to pinch the yarn in between our fingers and bring it through the eye of the needle. You're going to bring your yarn through about 1/4 of the way, and it's going to have a tail, and on the longer end we are going to tie a knot. When knotting, I bring the yarn around my finger and then pull it tight so that the knot is at the end, but honestly you can knot however you want. Just try to get as close to the end as possible. We are going to stitch the letter first in chain stitch. You're going to bring your needle up and then you're going to bring it back down in the exact same point, and you're going to pull it, but then don't pull it all the way. You're going to leave a loop and you're going to bring your needle up through the loop about 1/3 of an inch ahead of your previous stitch. You're going to pull tight so that the loop catches. And then to do your next chain stitch, you're going to bring your needle back down in the middle of the loop where your last stitch was, and then we're going to leave another loop. You're going to come forward another 1/3 of an inch, and you're going to repeat the same process. Bring your needle up through the middle of the loop, pulling tight, and you're going to repeat this process every time, making loops to form a chain. Try to bring your needle up the same distance every time so your stitches look uniform. I'm running out of yarn, so now I'm going to show you how to end a row of chain stitches. You're going to stitch your last chain, and then we're going to bring our needle on the outside of that last loop and we're going to pull it down. This locks the chain in place. When tying off the back of a sweater, I like to bring my needle through my previous stitches and then bring it through the loop and pull it tight. This makes sure that the knot is really smooth on the back for baby. You are then going to rethread your needle with yarn, and we're going to begin again with our chain stitches. Here you'll see we're going to have to switch to this section over here. So I'm actually going to tie off my yarn to keep the back nice and tidy, and then I will come up again in that new section. Once you are done with your chain stitches, you're going to get out your white yarn and we are going to whip our chain stitches. First, we're going to pull our needle and yarn all the way through, and then we're going to go underneath our first chain stitch. Now, on the same side that you entered, you're going to enter underneath the second chain stitch. Pull your thread tight, and you're going to keep doing this, going through the same side every time underneath your chain stitches. It creates this fun Christmas peppermint look. I like to do this with chain stitches and also back stitches. If you have to move sections and you have previous stitches, you can bring your needle and thread through those stitches to move directions, and this will allow you to change directions without tying off your yarn, but the back will still look really nice. When you're done whipping all your chain stitches, you're simply going to bring your needle down on the end of the row of chain stitches and bring it to the back of the sweater. We are now going to take our white yarn and we are going to move to the Santa hat. To start the Santa hat, we are going to do chain stitches around the entire length of the bottom of the Santa hat. The bottom of the hat has hard curves, so when you do your chain stitches on the curves, you're going to make your stitches slightly smaller than the other ones. When you're done with the outline and chain stitch, we are going to end our chain stitch by bringing our needle on the outside of our last loop, and we are then going to fill in French knots in the bottom of the hat. Bring your needle and thread all the way up and then wrap your yarn needle around your thread 3 to 4 times. Holding it, you're going to place the needle into the sweater and then hold it a little bit tight to the side and then bring your needle back and pull it all the way tight. This part may take a while because French knots can be tedious, however the final project looks really cute. I like to do French knots on top of the chain stitches too to really give it a full look. You're going to repeat this for the ball of the Santa hat too. We are now going to move on to the main section of the hat. For the main section of the hat, we're first going to do the outline in chain stitch. When you finish up the outside of the hat, we are then going to fill the middle of the hat with horizontal chain stitches. This is basically the same process, but when you get to the end of each line, you're going to bring your needle on the outside of the row of chain stitches, end it, and then come above for a new row of chain stitches. You're going to repeat this process every time, doing row on top of row. And a hack that I like, because sometimes the stitches can pull apart and you can see your sweater, is I will make a small straight stitch to hold the rows together. When you are done stitching, we are going to tie off our yarn and wash our sweater. It's important to wash off all of your stabilizer pattern properly. You're going to rinse the sweater under running water for 3 to 5 minutes, apply mild dish soap and scrub it into your stitches. Make sure that all of the stabilizer is removed. You don't want any left because it can cause ink bleeding and it can make your sweater stiff. And now we're done! I hope you love your Christmas sweater keepsake.